If you were reading this in the original language, he's literally called liar.
The thing about putting your foot on a tiger's neck, you can't let it up.
Esau is Vin Diesel.
Forgets what you did to him. He's not going to forget. He didn't forget the stew.
We discovered something.
We're working on it. I'm obviously drawn back to the incest thing.
Come on, guys.
Help us out.
Come on, guys.
You can either become your ideal self, or you can just say, fuck that, too much work, and then suffer for the rest of your life for it.
I went in wanting to not like it, because Justin Roiland for an alleged sexual abuse case got kicked off the show.
I believe that was disproven.
Yeah, I believe so as well. But he still got kicked off. So I went in wanting not to like the show, but I caught myself with that, and I enjoyed the episodes I watched.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I stopped really watching it super closely before that even happened.
Yeah, I did as well. I didn't even watch the Evil Morty arc.
I can't remember if that's the last one I watched or if that's the first one I didn't watch.
Okay.
On to the Bible, our holy scripture and sacred text. Today we're talking about Jacob stealing Esau's blessing. Are you familiar with this tale?
Vaguely, maybe, but I'm not super, so.
Okay. Well, it's a good time for this one. I think I could use a little pep in my step.
Crack her open, buddy.
Many of you may have been concerned last week that we lost our secondary sponsor, Prime Energy, second only to the Westboro Baptist Church.
Thank you guys for your support.
Suck your own dick today.
Westboro Baptist Church believes everything we say, and they endorse us completely. We have an abortion is okay sign coming in here soon. We'll have it in the back burner. So,
also a pride flag. We don't like that the rainbow has been completely hijacked by essentially by the Westboro Baptist Church. At this point, they're making it a hate symbol. They've turned a pride symbol into a hate symbol. It's been double jacked.
Are they actually?
Well, I mean, I think the God hates fag sign are usually
rainbow.
On a rainbow. Yeah. It's just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, you really think God yeah.
You're just mad that they took the rainbow because it's awesome. Get over it. But yeah, they agree with everything that we say. The Westboro Baptist Church does. They're just as degenerate as you and I.
That'll make a good clip.
It will. But today, Jacob takes Esau's blessing. Starts off by mentioning that Esau, at age 40, married both Judith, daughter of Beri the Hittite, and also Basemath. It's spelled base math, so I'm going to call her base math because that's fun.
Based
As fuck, boy. Daughter of Elon the Hittite, or Elon the Hittite. They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah.
A source of grief. They were
the wives. Yeah, they don't like the Hittite wives.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not happy with that.
Wonder if they were hewers.
It doesn't mention it, so I'm going to assume not, but who knows? You never know.
Yeah.
But let's see. When Isaac, so here's where the actual story begins. Isaac is old, frail. He knows he's dying. He can barely see. He has a blessing to give to his favored son, Esau. So he calls for Esau, and he says, I am an old man and don't know the day of my death. Get your things, quiver, bow, go out into the forest and prepare me the kind of tasty food I like and bring it to me to eat so that I may give you my blessing before I die. So Rebekah hears this, and she gets Jacob, tells him, I just overheard your dad saying he's got a blessing for Esau. So what you're going to do is you're going to get some game, prepare me some tasty food to eat.
Tasty snacks?
Yeah. Bring me some goats. I went back a little bit farther, and it did that thing where it literally verbatim just copy pastes the exact same paragraph. My bad. But also, Bible's bad for doing that so often when you've proven that you have alternatives that work better anyway.
Like quick summaries.
Yeah, like she told him what she heard. Like that thing that you did at the end of the other story where you spent fucking 20 verses repeating 30 other verses.
Yeah.
The fuck? But she tells him to go get a goat or a couple of goats so that she can make some tasty food for her hubby.
Oh, I bet those are some tasty snacks.
Tasty snacks. I want some Rice Krispies with peanut M&Ms on top, and I want to play Halo while I eat them.
The good old days.
Good old days. We need to get together and play some Halo soon.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing the other day.
Hell yeah. And we'll talk about times after we finish this. We need it. So she's going to prepare the tasty food for the father, just the way he likes it. I don't know how that is. According to Samson, that would be torn apart because he takes care of the lion as one may a goat, which is apparently the way you rip apart a savage beast that's trying to kill you.
Even so, I don't think I could rip a goat apart. Jesus.
These are hardcore people. So tells him, I'm going to make the food, then you take it to Isaac and say that you are Esau so that you can get the blessing, because he's blind at this point. Okay. He can't see them, so just go lie to him. Say you're your brother and get the blessing. Steal the blessing. Because remember, an angel told her that I can't remember the exact quote. I'll pop it up somewhere over yonder way so that we can take a look at it later. But it was something along the lines of 2 nations wrestle within you. And 2 nations will be born, the younger will rule over the other. An angel prophesized. Angel came down and told her the younger is going to rule over the older. So that's probably why she's taken such a liking to Jacob, even though he, just kind of dawdles around camp all day, every day, is kind of a fomp.
Yeah.
Like, look up pictures of Jacob and Esau, like paintings of them, and a few of them really, really paint him to just look like an asshole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dressed up in like fine clothes while Esau is dressed as like a hunter. He looks like the other people.
And we'll pop them up here.
We'll pop a couple up right there and there, yeah.
Over there and yonder.
Yeah. I think I actually found like 6, so we'll pop up one for everyone that we just did. Cool. But yeah, so she's been told that the younger one is going to rule over the older one, so she's like, this is our ticket in. This is how we do this. So you go steal that blessing right now. This was meant to be. An angel told me so. And remember, when they were born, Esau was very hairy. Jacob was not. Esau, being very hairy, or Jacob rather, knowing this conundrum here that Esau is a very hairy guy, says to his mother, he's gonna know if he touches me, like Esau's all hairy. I'm a smooth man. I think that actually, yeah. But my brother Esau is a hairy man, while I have smooth skin. What if my father touches me? I would appear to be tricking him, and he would bring down a curse on myself rather than a blessing. So his mother tells him, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I tell you. Go and get him. Mm-hmm. Go and get the goats. So she cooks up some food. She also skins them and tans them and drapes the goat skins over the smooth parts of his arm and the smooth part of his neck.
My grandma, you're mighty hairy.
Right, yeah. Little Red Riding Hood levels of preposterousness in these stories. Goat skins. He's so old, withered, and out of it that he can't tell the difference between his son's arm and the tanned hide of a goat.
Jesus.
Man. The expected suspension of disbelief that they had for the readers of this book is astronomical. Oh, man. So he does it. They prep the food. They put the goat skins on him. Takes it to Isaac. He goes to his father and he says, "My father." And he says, "Yes, my son. Who is it?" And Jacob said, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game so that you may give me your blessing." And Isaac asked his son, "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" Because he's trying to do this before Esau gets back specifically. He's like, this has to happen quicker than a typical hunt would take, or other he's going to come in here and ruin this whole thing for me. So he says, "God blessed me and gave me success." Like, okay, that's convenient. But Isaac says to Jacob, "Come near so I can touch you, so that I may know that you are really my son Esau." Jacob went close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau, my lovely goat-haired son." "You sound of Jacob, but I touch this leathery goat skin, and you feel of Esau."
That is fucking stupid.
"You sound of Jacob, but feel of Esau."
That is so dumb.
Yeah, so
Man.
believes him, or touches him, and just to be sure, he's like, Are you really Esau?" And he says, "I am."
I am.
And he said, "My son, bring me some of your game to eat." Asks him for the food. He feasts. He has a little bit of wine. And then he says, "Come here, my son, and kiss me." So he went and kissed him. And when Isaac caught the smell of the goat skins, that's when he's like, the smell of my son. He can smell the scent of the hunt on him. He smells of the game, smells of the hunt. Not only does he feel of Esau, but he smells of Esau. Although he sounds of Jacob, this is enough for him. So the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed. So, blessing of all blessings. This is not just and I bless you in the name of my father. This is like a huge blessing. Like, nations will bow before you. Your brothers are your servants. So he blesses him, and scarcely after leaving his father's tent, Esau comes back from the hunt. And he had too prepared some tasty food for his father, and brought it to him and says, "My father, please sit up and eat some of my game, that you may give me your blessing." And Isaac, rightfully confused, asks, "Who are you?" And he says, "I am your son, your firstborn Esau." And then Isaac, quote, trembled violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came, and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed." And when Esau heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry and said to his father, bless me too, my father."
Damn, tragic.
Tragedy.
Tragic.
Isaac is pissed, and Esau is just down-stricken.
Yeah.
He is beyond angry. He is at a loss.
Yeah.
So he said, "Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing." And Esau said, "Isn't he rightly named Jacob?" Because remember, Jacob in Hebrew literally means like deceiver, liar.
Yeah.
So just like, oh, how did we not see the foreshadowing and, like the hindsight of it all? But this is the second time he has taken advantage of me. He took my birthright, and now he's taken my blessing. Then he asked, haven't you reserved any blessings for me? And it just, before we move on, as far as taking the birthright, you, sir, traded it away for stew. Let's introduce some personal utility here. Genuinely, I think there's something to that. Like, he didn't take it. It said you were famished. It didn't. You said you were about to die. Then the narrator of the story did not say he was at death's door. Like, I don't know if that's all on him. Anyway, Isaac answered Esau, I have made him lord over you, and you have made all his relatives his servants. And I have sustained him with grain and new wine, so what can I possibly do for you, my son? So I gave him, like, the blessing of all blessings. What the hell can I do for you at this point? Which, I wonder if there's something to that. So Esau says to his father, do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father. Then Esau wept aloud. He is just completely downcast, downtrodden at the bottom of an empty well. Down in the dumps he is. So Isaac answered him, your dwelling will be away from earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above. You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from off your neck. So he's saying, you're going to serve your brother and live by the sword and fight for him. But whenever his foot on your neck becomes a little bit too unbearable for you, you're going to get it the fuck off.
You ever watch Fast and Furious?
No.
They're pretty comical films, the later ones are. But Dom Toretto, Vin Diesel's character,
Is the thing about putting your foot on a tiger's neck, you can't let it up.
Oh, God.
So Esau is Vin Diesel, essentially.
Esau is Vin Diesel. Or rather, Jacob is... Well, who's the tiger? Esau is the tiger.
Yeah. Vin
Jacob
Diesel is the
Vin
tiger.
Diesel.
Vin Diesel is the tiger.
Oh, Vin Diesel is the... Okay, so yeah, they're both... Okay, both Vin Diesel and Esau are the tiger.
He's characterizing himself as the tiger in the film.
He's just so preposterous that I can't immediately take anything he says, like, process it. He's on a whole nother level so far above me that I can't quickly enough. Should we... reset?
Yeah, we got right at 18 minutes. So.
But Esau then held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him.
Naturally.
Days of mourning for my father are near, he says to himself. Then I will kill my brother Jacob.
Oh.
So, more brothers being at odds to a significant degree. Granted, the last story was about these brothers, as well as other brothers, but these brothers were a part of the last one. This is... it's getting serious. Getting very serious over here. But
super serious. Serial.
Somebody heard this and told Rebecca, snitch, and so she told Jacob, your brother is planning to avenge himself by killing you, so run away to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. It's going to be a fucking while. When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, he's not going to forget. Like, he didn't forget the stew. He's not going to forget the fucking stealing of a fucking blessing from God.
A birthright,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess the birthright was tied, so it was significant. But, I mean, he's already shown he's not forgetting these things.
Yeah.
But he's not going to forget. But... she says to him, when he forgets, I'll send word to you to come back. Why should I lose both of you in one day? Fuck you mean both? Esau is just going to straight up murder this pompous little fuck.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Maybe not literal loss. I don't know.
Cain was lost once he had killed Abel.
Yeah, true. Very, literally in the story lost.
Call back.
Good job.
Thank you.
Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I'm disgusted with living because of these Hittite women. If Jacob takes a wife from among the women of this land, from Hittite women like these, my life will not be worth living. So this is how much of a pain in the ass Esau's Hittite wives are to at least Rebekah. It did say that they were both upset with them,
yeah.
but Isaac is like nearing death and probably not that able of just bitching and moaning about them, even
Sure.
if he would. So Isaac calls for Jacob, blesses him again, like, fucker, kind of overdoing it and rubbing it in Esau's face, but commanded him, do not marry a Canaanite woman. Go at once to Padan Aram, to the house of your mother's father Bethuel. Take a wife for yourself there from among the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. So again, they are commanding incest, commanding it. It cannot be among the Hittites, and it hasn't been very specific about why the Hittite women are a problem. It's just telling them to fuck within their bloodline, and I don't get it.
Don't get it, man. Don't get it.
There has to be some other symbolism you could have used if it meant anything.
Yeah, sticking within your community, you could have used some other symbolism.
Some other symbolism. But may God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and increase your numbers until you become a community of peoples. May he give you and your descendants the blessings given to Abraham so that you may take possession of the land where you now reside as a foreigner, the land God gave to Abraham. So he wants him to have Abraham's lands specifically. Blessed, just like Abraham, is Jacob being passed on from Isaac. So he sent him away. And then Esau learned that Isaac blessed Jacob and sent him away to take a wife from there. And that he was told specifically not to marry a Canaanite woman, and that he was being told to marry someone from there. So Esau realized how displeasing his Canaanite wives were to his father. Only mentions his father Isaac specifically. He realizes how displeasing they are to Isaac. So he went to Ishmael and married Mahalath, the sister of Nebaioth and daughter of Ishmael, son of Abraham. So he's marrying, oh my God, it's all within the family. In addition to the wives he already had. So he takes a third wife that is related to him. I'm not sure exactly how related they are. It was the daughter of his father's half-brother, so some sort of cousin, I don't know. Relative. Blood relative. Why?
Why, Gary?
Very removed. Why, Gary? Why? But that's the story. Jacob steals Esau's blessing.
Okay.
With his mother's blessing. She, beyond a blessing, I mean, she kind of orchestrated the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
Do you have any initial takeaways?
Yeah, I've got a few. I think the thought of, like, obviously Rebekah favored Jacob, and like I've seen it like within even some people that I know, like they're a little too close with their mother, like boys specifically.
In what way?
Like, I think going to your mom and talking to her about certain things is totally cool, but like
Absolutely.
like confiding in your mother in a way that you should be confiding in, you should be confiding in other men in this way. I'm trying to describe it in a good way.
Just bringing up the wrong things.
Yeah, like too close. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it.
I don't think it's even too close. Maybe too close, but
close in the wrong way.
Close in the wrong way, I think is a better way to put it.
Yeah.
You're not appropriately, I don't know, you're not having the right conversations with the right people.
Yeah.
Type thing, I think is what you're getting at.
Yeah, and like of course, like Jacob, you would resort to tricks when you are doing these things instead of what Esau's doing, which is like manly things and going out and providing properly and doing the right things.
Yeah.
You resort to tricks when you are
incapable.
Yeah. And yeah, which is weird because like good things are happening for Jacob in this book, in this story still.
Good things are happening for him, but there has been some foreshadowing towards his downfall.
Yeah.
A little bit. Not just in Esau straight up saying, I'm going to kill this guy, but in Isaac saying that one day you will remove his yoke from your neck.
Right.
So Isaac, very forthrightly walking with God his whole life, he is saying, one day you're going to be freed of this, and Jacob is sounds like he's saying Jacob is going to pay some sort of price for this.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a specific film, but it's a good archetypal story. Like, I've seen it in films before. Like, the brother is, the younger brother is or the older brother, whoever, is like brothers to the king or something, and the king is not as righteous, and the brother becomes frustrated and tries to. That's a very reoccurring theme within the world.
Sure, yeah, just within stories in general.
Yeah, like the trickery part. I'm like you said, like this is fucking Little Red Riding Hood level.
Oh, the just the ridiculousness of how they did it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous way. Like, and that's where I'm like, what the fuck are we supposed to take away from the Bible at this point? Like,
well, I think that's one of those little details where it's like, well, how would we do this? They have to trick him somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're supposed to look into the symbolism of the goat skin specifically
Sure.
and think this is preposterous, but I think that does serve as a clue that maybe we're not supposed to think that this is real.
Yeah.
It's like he couldn't tell the difference between some freshly dried goat skins and his son. Like hairy human arms versus a freshly tanned goat.
Yeah, I think the fact that he's blind is symbolic of something and is important. Like, because when you're blind, you can't see. Obviously, I don't know if something had happened to Isaac to where he wasn't able to properly discern like who should be accepting his birthright.
Could be, yeah. It could be that I don't know. His judgment was temporarily clouded. What may have blinded him?
Right.
What would blind you in that way? That
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Blind to the discernment between which son I should pick to, let's say.
Yeah, but I mean,
What do you mean exactly?
well, it seems to be pretty well established that he believes Esau should receive it, even while he was blind.
Esau's doing the right things.
It might be his blindness may be more related to Jacob in that his deceit specifically. It might be related to his deceit in that's the kind of person that these mischievous trickster types, that not even trickster types, the people that take advantage of other people have to take advantage of people that are somewhat blind and unaware.
I like that. Yeah, definitely.
Because I can't see any reason that we should assume Isaac might at any point consider giving this blessing to Jacob, especially because as soon as he realizes what he's done, he is pissed. He's furious immediately. And it's not like he was blinded temporarily and that's when he snuck in. He had been blind for the entirety of this story, and that's when he told Esau, you're going to get this blessing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a great point. Like, yeah, these predatory types need to latch on to blind people.
Mm-hmm.
Blind, not self-aware, like we talked about in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God, that was so long ago.
That was like 3 weeks ago, guys.
But absolutely. These incapable people that have to rely on tricking others in order to survive because they can't do it themselves. They have to find people that are capable of providing for them that are also blind in a sense to their trickery. So that could be the symbolism of the blindness there.
I could get behind that. Yeah, it's any other takeaways for you?
For the whole story?
Yeah.
Let's most likely. So, generally speaking, I think it's maybe a narrative on the idea that just maybe people that aren't necessarily deserving of. I shouldn't say deserving. That's a weird word. Like who deserves what, but people earning people who haven't earned it, people who haven't worked for it, can often scheme and trick their way into positions of, high well-being.
And they have to. If they choose not to orient themselves properly, they have to.
If that's exactly. If that's the type of person you are, that's what you have to do. If you have to be tricky and schemy and shitty, if you're incapable of doing anything yourself, or at least you have to take advantage of things and other people, even if it's not necessarily in a scheme-like manner.
Yeah.
But, you could leech off of people, you could scheme people, but however you do it, these people can find success. And I think as we get further down the line and find out what the conclusion to all of this is, we'll see what the ultimate takeaway from this lineage of stories is between these two quarreling brothers.
Yep.
But I think that for the time being, what I'm taking away from it is those people can come into positions of good standing.
Not that just made me think. Like now, I'm wondering if any of these stories about two brothers, Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau, like, is it two different people or is it the two people that are battling within our brains?
I mean, pick your poison, a life of dedication and sacrifice or a life of being a scheming piece of shit.
Yeah.
That could be. I like that a lot. That could be, and that might be reinforced as we get a little bit deeper into it and see how this unfolds. I like that because the giving your birthright away thing, that on its face, it's like, Esau's pretty impulsive there, and Jacob is kind of a piece of shit there. But beyond that, it's like trading away your birthright might mean something. And if it's talking about the duality within yourself, it's almost like, which one are you going to give your everything to? The shittier version or the better version? You going to keep it for yourself, or are you going to throw it away for simple pleasures, quick and immediate means of satisfaction, like stew, which is apparently worth a fucking birthright.
Yeah.
So I like that. That makes some of the story a little bit easier to kind of work on.
Yeah.
And as far as this specific story goes, you could even take it to, what's easier, going out and hunting game and preparing it yourself, or grabbing a couple of goats and having mom do it for you?
Yep.
Which one are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. And even so, even if you pick the trickery route, in the back of your brain, you're going to be there's going to be something. You've got your foot on the neck of that part of your brain that's like, this is not right.
Yeah.
This is wrong.
Yeah, that your conscience.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's that is yelling at you like, this thing is holding you back. It's got its foot on your neck and its hands around your throat, and it's stopping you from doing what you should be doing, and becoming what you can become.
Totally.
That's a little bit easier to. That thinking is making it easier for me to kind of think about these stories.
Yeah.
In a more practical sense.
Yeah,
I
me
think.
too. Me too.
We
discovered something.
We're working on it.
Huh. What about for Cain and Abel, if we take that same thought process?
Oh, that one. I feel like I kind of came to that conclusion on that one. I mean, it's almost like that battle within yourself to either make the proper sacrifices or not.
Yeah.
Do you either, I guess, no, I used that mentality when kind of trying to pick Cain apart a little bit,
Yeah.
where he was having that internal monologue. It's like he can be Cain or Abel.
Yeah.
And he chose to be Cain. He chose to destroy the better version and just completely throw away the possibility of that being a thing, and chose to be what he is now instead of becoming more.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of indirectly came to that
Okay,
kind of
cool.
line of thinking where, yeah, absolutely. I think that's the takeaway from that story, where it's like you can either become your ideal self, or you can just say, fuck that, too much work, and then suffer for the rest of your life for it.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. And let's see. Beyond that, I'm obviously drawn back to the incest thing.
Come on, guys.
Help us out.
Come on, guys. Come on.
It's so prominent. It keeps being brought up so implicitly.
Yep.
And I want to know why.
Yep.
Especially because they double back on that.
Yep.
Specifically making, like,
Yep.
some of these relationships not okay in the specific relations that they mention.
Yep. And this is my frustration with the modern interpretation of the Bible. It's like you conveniently forget to mention all of the incest all the time.
Yeah. And just the contradictions in general were always my biggest thing. It's like, well, wait a minute. And not even the New Testament revising kind of the harsher elements of God, but in the Old Testament itself, going back on shit like the incest.
Yep.
I mean, you've got Abraham and Sarah, half siblings, but then God tells Moses, no, that's not okay. That's all Old Testament. Or is he telling I think he's telling Moses. Either way, I looked up the verse and popped it up on the screen for the last episode where they're talking about all that stuff in Leviticus. They go back on the incest thing and specifically mention half siblings.
Yeah.
So Abraham and Sarah's marriage, haram.
Yeah.
Big time. Just a couple of books later.
Yeah.
Taking this thing literally, you're going to come across this type of thing that is just inexplainable.
Yeah.
And you would say, well, you can, as they were writing it, they changed their mind. It's like, why wouldn't they revise it? If the grand takeaway is this, no. You've got multiple people writing these different books that make up the Bible.
Yep.
And they have semi-differing ideologies,
Yep.
potentially. I think that's where a lot of this comes from. Right? I mean, you think I'm kind of on base with that one?
I think you're on base with that one.
I mean, because we talked about it at a certain point, how difficult it must have been to get so many people that have the same-ish ideologies together, and to get them all to believe in that ideology so much that they are like, we need to write this down.
Right.
So difficult that I wouldn't be surprised if they slightly differed on a couple of opinions.
Yep.
Where are we at time-wise on this one?
About 40 minutes.
40?
Yep.
Well, I don't have any more really grand takeaways from this.
No, I think we got some cool stuff. I think we got some, we're developing some things there.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I do like that they call back to Jacob's name, just reminding everybody. If you were reading this in the original language, he's literally called liar.
Oh, really?
His name, Jacob, means he who grasps the heel, or to grasp the heel, which is a Hebrew idiom for like he who deceives.
Okay.
So his name is deceiver, liar.
Deceiver.
Scheming fuck, which is why Esau says, isn't he rightly named Jacob? He's literally like, of course the one named fucking deceiver is out here still deceiving everybody. No shit.
Right.
Yeah. Beyond that, I want to come to some sort of grand conclusion at some point with the fucking incest thing and why the hell that keeps being brought up. And I think that's a good place to end the show. We're confused. Leave it in the comments. We need help. I need answers.
Shit about fuck. Cool.